Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And today, I'd like to get personal again. I think it's important for every growing YouTube channel to add a personal touch. I'm not just a guy who makes videos. I have meaningful life experiences that I think are worth sharing. And one of the most defining, not to mention arduous experience I've had in my adult life involves health. To understand why it was defining, I need to share a few semi-intimate details about myself. Now make no mistake, I was not in shape for a good chunk of my life. That's not to say I was overweight or anything. If you saw me during that period, you'd just probably think I'd look average. I didn't have much muscle tone, but I didn't have too much fat either. That average look also hid some below average eating habits, to put it mildly. I ate sugary cereal with chocolate milk for dinner, and I regularly binged on cookies, ice cream, and donuts as side dishes. And were it not for the much healthier meals my parents cooked at family gatherings, I probably would have done some serious damage. The only thing that kept my diet from being a serious problem was that I only ate 2 meals a day and I rarely snacked. And I also didn't drink beer or soda that much. On top of that less than stellar diet, I didn't care much for exercise either. Gym was by far my least favorite class in high school. And in college, the only workout I got was walking across campus every day. But after I graduated, my overall activity level diminished significantly. Simply put, this was not a healthy lifestyle. And over time, it really got to me. I felt so miserable and unattractive. I looked in the mirror and I just didn't like what I saw. It showed in my lack of energy as well. And once I got to a certain point in my 20s, I realized my youth was not going to carry me forever. That's when I finally decided to make a change. Now, it didn't happen all at once. I didn't wake up one morning and decide to train like an Olympic athlete. I was just tired of feeling miserable, unattractive, and unfit. So I began a slow but steady transition. And looking back on it, as well as the results that followed, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Now, full disclosure, I am not a licensed doctor, nutritionist, or personal trainer. I'm also not one of those cheesy fitness gurus either. I promise you, I'm not trying to sell some overpriced gym equipment or shady weight loss pills. If you're really trying to get healthier and lose weight, stay away from them. They do not work. Trust me, they're a total waste of money. Instead, I'm just going to tell you how I got into shape. Now, I understand my situation is unique. What I did probably won't work for everyone. But at the very least, I hope it inspires or motivates others to do the same. Because it's never too late. Getting into shape and getting healthy is one of the best things you can do for yourself and your family. For me, a guy who started out as a total novice with no money for a personal trainer, I really had to start small. I also had to stumble around in the dark for a while, figuring things out. But that's the great thing about exercise and getting into shape. Even if you stumble, you still benefit most of the time. Being so unaccustomed to it, I strained myself pretty badly early on. I still remember running around the block just a few times and feeling like my lungs were on fire. On more than one occasion, I had to stop, keel over, and catch my breath. It's as unattractive as it sounds. However, like with all meaningful skills, the more you do it, the better you get at it. I noticed this fairly quickly. I went from barely being able to run a mile to regularly running 2 or 3 with relative ease. And it also helped that there were some nice trails in my neighborhood. I began running around them often and I really came to appreciate it. Sometimes I would put on my headphones and listen to music. Other times I just unplugged completely. Both were therapeutic in their own unique ways. Both got my heart and lungs going. And after a while, it actually stopped being strenuous. I actually felt good after I ran. It soon got to a point where I actually got upset when I couldn't run, usually due to weather. And for someone who hated running as a kid, that was a huge shift. But the much bigger step was when I started going to the gym. Now, I didn't join one of those chains that you see commercials for. Those are grossly overpriced. Plus, the fine print of their memberships is something you don't want to overlook. Instead, I just went to a local recreation center. It was just $7 a visit. It had a fully equipped gym, a pool, a sauna, and a hot tub. And one of the ways I stayed motivated was to reward myself with a dip in the hot tub every time I completed my workout. As with running, the first few workouts were a mess. I'm pretty sure I did some damage to my muscles because of my poor form. But after a few mishaps, I worked my way into a steady routine of sorts. It always began with running on a treadmill for at least 30 minutes. Early on, I could only run for parts of it and had to jog or walk the rest. But steadily, I worked my way up, running harder and farther. After that, I did a round of weight training. At first, I just used random machines. I did 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps each. Now, I didn't get that figure from nowhere. My cousin actually told me. Now, he's not an expert either, but it was the only info I had to go off of at the time. I didn't see immediate results, but after a while, I got into a pretty stable regimen. 30 minutes on a treadmill, 30 to 45 minutes of weight training, do 4 exercises for my upper body, do 4 exercises for my lower body. It was simple, predictable, and easy to follow. I still had to adjust along the way. I eventually found out that doing 5 sets of 5 to 8 reps with higher weights actually worked better for me. And once I got a feel for what I needed to do, I started going to the gym more regularly. I used to just go once a week. Then I started going twice. Now I try to go 3 times a week, and I have a regular membership. I go so often that I'm actually on a first-name basis with the manager there. And yes, eventually, I did see results. And so did that manager I mentioned. I went from painfully average to someone with some actual muscle mass. Now, if you saw me walk down the street, you would rightly assume that I work out. I'm still no Olympic athlete or bodybuilder. I'm just above average in terms of overall fitness. And that's great. That earned me plenty of health benefits, way more than I expected. I have so much more self-confidence. My energy levels have significantly improved. And when I look in the mirror, I actually like what I see. Plus, it's just naturally rewarding, seeing your body transform in a positive way. But working out at the gym was only part of the struggle. To really get into shape and get healthier, you have to eat better. There's just no way around it. I don't care what any guru or expert says. If you want to lose weight, gain muscle, and look good in a swimsuit, you have to change your diet. This, in many ways, was much harder than any workout. But again, it is doable. You just have to start small. You can't start by just starving yourself or cutting out everything that tastes good. You'll only hurt yourself by doing that. You just have to make incremental changes over time. For me, it started with cutting back on cereal and cookies. But that doesn't mean I replaced them with salads and fruits. Instead, I had to get a little creative. I started by making big pots of meaty chili, high in protein and packed with plenty of spices. I even used the same cereal bowls that once contained sugary cereal to eat it. To some extent, it was much more filling. Chili, when you cook it right, is much better for you than any brand of cereal. And instead of cookies or muffins, I started eating granola bars. However, this is where I also had to be careful. Certain granola bars are very high in sugar. And as a general rule, you want to cut down on sugar to the greatest extent possible. Now, you don't have to cut it out completely, just make sure it's only a small part of your overall caloric intake. I also got into the habit of making eggs regularly. And it helped that I already loved eggs, I just didn't eat them that often. That changed once I realized they were a great source of protein and often made me feel less hungry. I even incorporated them into my post-workout meals. One of my favorite meals to date is a 3-egg omelet packed with canned crabs or salmon meat, sliced jalapeno peppers, and chopped onions. And if I need to spice it up a little more, I pour a little hot sauce on top, making sure I pick the sauce that's low in sodium, that is. After a while, I grew to enjoy my diet. Now yes, I still eat cake, cookies, and donuts, but not nearly as often. This change, focusing on protein and healthy fats, really helped me see results. It's at a point where I can actually see my abs, and I went through most of my 20s not being able to see my abs. And trust me, if I can do it, anyone can. Like I said earlier, I had some very unhealthy habits that I had to break. But it's not insurmountable. It's less about breaking old habits and more about embracing new ones. And if you do it right, you come to appreciate what it takes to be healthy. You feel like you've accomplished something with every workout. You leave feeling energized rather than sore or tired. And even when you do feel sore, it's more like a badge of honor than a burden. That's why, if you're thinking about getting into shape, I strongly encourage you to do so. You don't have to do it all at once. You can, and probably should, start small like I did. Go for a run or jog once a week. Then do it twice a week. Then see if you can do it every other day. Look for trails and paths in your neighborhood. Use it as an escape from daily stressors, or as just a means of relaxing. Once you feel ready, check out the local rec centers or gyms. Start going at least once a week. Commit to spending at least an hour working out, some on cardio and some on weight training. Whether it's treadmills or aerobics, just make sure you're sweating and burning calories. Along the way, find a routine that works for you. And also, take a good long look at what you're eating. See what you can swap out for something healthier. Replace some of the unhealthy foods you like with healthy foods that you also like. You don't have to eat something that tastes awful to be healthy. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And if you find yourself feeling too hungry at times, try to eat foods that actually make you feel less hungry. Eggs do that, but so does fish, lean meats, and certain types of nuts, especially almonds. And don't be afraid to experiment, but don't get sucked into diet fads either. Because, and this is important, all the information you need is already out there. It's widely available and completely free. There are YouTube channels that give you diverse workout routines for people of every fitness level. I'll even leave a few in the description. There are also entire meal kits that will send you healthy meals, ingredients, and instructions right to your doorstep. Now, I'll never claim it's easy. Things worth doing rarely are. But getting in shape is so rewarding in so many ways. Beyond the basic health benefits, you just feel better about yourself and life in general. It has a positive impact on nearly every other aspect of your life. It starts out as a grind, but evolves into a routine, one you come to both appreciate and cherish. I hope this inspires some of you to take the same leap I did. If you have other tips and tidbits you'd like to share, please do so. I welcome all of it. Because when it comes to getting into shape, you can never have too much inspiration. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, stay safe, and stay healthy, my friends.